subscribe and hit the bell icon and never miss another video.
Actually fear, because I think I have figured out what this industry of trolling is and what this thing is. I don't think other people have figured it out, because I think they're in shock. My fear before every role is like, have I forgotten how to act? I want my money back. And I actually felt guilty, you know. I make it my job to like the directors for the period of the film. Like, even if I don't like them as people. Like, the last 2 years have seen a very concerted attack on Bollywood to boycott films. I mean, I'm like, and I wrote a tweet, I wrote Dhandho Che. Like, it's obvious, guys. You're like, how much more obvious can it be? What was happening to me for 6-8 years has now started happening to other actors.
Hey guys, this is Nawaz Kochra from Team MissMalini, and I am here with the very amazing, very gorgeous Swara Bhasker.
Hello.
Hello, what's up? How have you been?
I have been good, and I am now very happy to see you in person and do interviews in person, because I am sick of Zoom. I just want everyone to know that.
Absolutely.
I love Zoom to gossip with friends. I've turned Zoom into FaceTime. I don't want to do any work meetings on Zoom. I don't want to do any work interviews on Zoom.
Superb. And you know, when there is such an amazing project coming up like Jahaan Chaar Yaar, obviously milkar to interview karna banta hai.
Exactly, 100%.
Any project that Swara Bhasker chooses, it has something in it.
Oh God.
Like, you can never go wrong with it. And you know, I am not just saying it like that. There have been projects, like your roles have been so impactful, whether it is Nil Bate Sannata, or even right now, this morning again, I was watching the trailer of Jahaan Chaar Yaar, and it's a very sweet film. It has a very Videdi wedding vibe. Also, Shikha Talsania is there, Meher Vij is there. It's a very amazing group of these married ladies who are always on the lookout of, you know, finding themselves. Somewhere they've brushed some issues under the carpet, which they are, you know,
exactly.
They are bringing the best out of each other in their company, and then things go haywire with a Goa trip.
Yeah.
So the film is fun. I can totally say that. But I want to know that, you know, after Videdi wedding, now this one, uske beech mein there has been Sheer Kurma, obviously, which has hit bullseye at the
international circuit.
So, how does it feel? Like, does it feel surreal? Like, it's all happening so well.
It feels great. I think you're absolutely right. I think the two things that really come across from the trailer, and which is very much the spirit of Jahaan Chaar Yaar, is fun, like mauj, masti, and joy. You know, the joy of friendship. And it's very funny that so you mentioned Videdi wedding, and one of my friends, who's like quite a brat, was like, oh, wow, presenting Videdi wedding soaked in Rai ka tel. And I thought that was really funny, because it's nice. I think that in Bollywood, whenever you see friendship and road trip films, it's always like urban cool people,
right.
You know, young cool people, like Videdi wedding or Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, Dil Chahta Hai. And now you are actually appropriating the road trip and the girls' friendship sort of story, and casting these 4 auntie Gs, basically, like these bhenjis, like, you know how they say, who we dismiss as bhenjis. Right. And I think that's the really sweet part of the film, that you've taken 4 characters who are middle class housewives with children, really bored, from small towns, people that you would dismiss and think are not cool enough to be on screen, but you've taken them and you've like built this really fun story around them. So that's what I really liked about Jahaan Chaar Yaar. Other than that, of course, I'm excited because, as you said, that it's a release for me after a year and a half. I had 4 releases in COVID. That's when we always chatted on Zoom, and all of them were on OTT. And well, my theatrical is like 4 years ago, Videdi wedding. So I'm really excited. And of course, there's been Sheer Khurma in the middle of that. And all those 4 OTT releases were all great content-wise. So it's been great, but I'm really excited to be back on the big screen, because I really feel like, you know, movies happen. I mean, movies are for cinema halls. Like, you know, there's something, that connection between the theatre and films.
In fact, that the 70 has in those 2.5 hours is...
Dude, I'm in Bombay. Like, I literally, like, I took this plunge to practically gamble with my youth and come to Bombay and be an actor. All of us did, because of the magic and seduction of the 70mm. So I'm really glad always to be on it.
But another thing that I liked about Jahaan Chaar Yaar was how beautifully they have taken this issue very subtly of toxicity in married relationships.
Yeah.
We usually live in a space where we take advantage कि अरे अपनी जिंदगी में तुम खुश हो, सब प्यार, out of love you are doing a lot of things, but at the same time that emotional exploitation is something that is not being addressed about.
Yeah.
And there's a scene in the movie where
Yeah.
Meher which is telling you that they are emotionally exploiting you.
Yeah.
And that scene was so realistic.
Yeah.
It was, oh my god. So is it always that Swara Bhasker chooses such impactful roles? That's a conscious effort. Can we say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I do, because I always feel that, look, as an actor, all of us, we cannot control what is being offered to us. That's not in my hands. What is in my hands is what I say yes to. So sometimes it's slim pickings even. Sometimes, yes, it's a wider choice. But whether the choice is great and wide or the choice is very slim, I always try to ensure that I'm going to do a film that I can stand by forever, because films last forever and I don't want to be embarrassed in my grave. Enough of that while you're living. So yeah, I think I'm very careful about what I choose. Sometimes you hit and miss, because you can never, I'm only judging a script.
And
so
you can never predict the fate
I
of a
can't
film.
predict that translation from script to screen. That involves the craft and talent of a lot of other people who are not me. So there's a lot that's not in my control as an actor. But as much as I can, I try to choose, stuff that is worthy. I've never taken the audience for granted.
Right.
I've never thought ki chal jayega. Nothing chalos. You have to have good content is all that chalos, I feel. And the audience is very smart. So I don't want to I don't ever try to be over smart with my audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that if it's not good, they're gonna say it's not good.
And
This
that
happened
is
to
what
me
I like
once.
about you, that when you choose a role,
Yeah.
like I told you, it is always
Yeah.
that there is something right about
Yeah.
this film, which is why you are a part of it.
At least in the script. I've been in situations where something has not turned out how the script was or what I thought was the potential of the script. And I remember this one comment that I read. Now, normally I don't read comments, but sometimes around releases I do. And one person was like, I only went to watch this film because Swara Bhasker was in it and I thought it was great. It's a horrible film. I want my money back. And I actually felt guilty, I actually felt guilty. I was like, I really have to, I have to take my own name more seriously. And there's something people are associating and I should give value to that. I'm proud of Jahaan Chaar Yaar. I think its heart is in the right place. And I do want to say Kamal Pandey, the writer and director, it's amazing to see a man writing such a sensitive, beautiful, and a script which has empathy for women and for the intimate experience, the small experiences of women. Everything that you've pointed out about the small toxicity, the gaslighting, that so much of marriage can become for women. And when I read the script, I was like, I can't believe a man's written this. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like you mentioned that there have been times when you've liked the script, but the way it's translated has been very different.
Yeah.
In a situation like this, what do you do? Do you walk up to the director and tell them, or do you just go with the flow?
You try your best, right? As an actor, you don't want you want the best for the film. And as an actor, I know that it's not enough for me to do my job well. If the film as a whole is not working, it doesn't matter actor kitni mehnat kar le. Because ultimately, the medium is a medium of teamwork. And the medium, and I'm very clear about this, the medium is the director's medium. It's a technician's medium. This is not the actor's medium. If I wanted to have the pure artistic experience in actor's medium, I should have been on stage. The stage is the actor's medium. I'm very, very clear about this. And I'm a very, I respect that. I respect my place. My place is to give vision. My place is to translate the vision of the director and to kind of give expression to that vision. So I do try where I can. But if I see that there's resistance or the director is for whatever reason not agreeing with me, I back off, because I'm like, okay, it's not my job. And I've actually had people who've acted out and showed me, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I'll copy. It's not great. And those are no. I always feel that the best kind of performance comes when the director honors the actor's craft and directs and lets the actor. Our job is to not bring to life what you've written. It's also to fill in, on a script, how you see lines. An actor fills in that space between lines.
Right.
If you don't let me do that,
you've said that.
Yeah. If you don't let me do that, you're not letting me do my job. So if you see, and I'm not talking about me or any actor, their better performances are the ones where the directors have allowed them a little space to fill in between those lines and to breathe life into the character. And that's been my experience as for working for the last decade as well. But also, I'm like, beyond a point, I'm like, I don't want to get into an ego battle, and I don't have any ego when it comes to my like being on set, being at work. What I try very hard that whatever questions, doubts, issues I have, that they should be resolved before we go on set. Because you know, the set is not a place to have all these doubts and discussions. All that time is before. But I work very closely with the directors. The other thing I do, this is a bit of a secret reveal, is that I make it my job to like the directors for the period of the film. Like, even if I don't like them as people. Okay. But from the time that I've come on the shoot to the time that the film is being shot and we're working together, dubbing, whatever, I'm like, no, but I will make it my business to like you. You might be the most irritating, obnoxious person in the world, but I will find a way to work with you in a very nice, pleasant manner. I may never see you again after that. After the film releases, I might never meet you. I mean, I'm very polite, but while that film goes on, I always feel that you have to, that time you have to make it work. You have to honor it.
Like you said, after We Did the Wedding, this is your big screen release.
Yeah.
After quite some time.
Yeah.
We've obviously been through a life-changing pandemic and a lockdown where things changed to a great extent.
Yeah.
But has the industry changed?
I think that the industry has, I mean, as you said, the whole country, the whole world has been through a huge shock with COVID. It's been a traumatizing experience for the whole world, more for people who have not had the privilege to kind of cushion themselves against, you know, the non-medical fallouts of COVID, which was, you know, employment, like lockdown, the implication of that on livelihood, all of that. But I think that the industry has also changed because this time also saw, like the last 2 years have seen a very concerted attack on Bollywood in terms of after Sushant's demise, after his suicide, the kind of hysteria that has been whipped up against Bollywood, and a lot of it has been lies, it's been agenda driven, and some of that has then carried on into this boycott Bollywood rubbish. So I think
going on very
I mean, it's
recently.
completely, I mean, as I said, I've said this very plainly, it is a constructed hysteria to target Bollywood by people who have a certain political agenda and a certain agenda of hate, and they don't like Bollywood because they understand the power of cinema and the power of Bollywood on our popular imagination. They don't like that, and it's literally today I saw one of these Twitter handles that runs these boycott campaigns asking for money. Literally, I'll show you that screenshot as soon as this interview finishes. They're literally asking for money on Twitter to boycott films. I mean, I'm like, and I wrote a tweet, I wrote Dhandho Chhe. Like, it's obvious, guys. You're like, how much more obvious can it be? Like, why are you giving so much attention to this boycott rubbish?
This kind of an hatred coming your way, unnecessary. Does it affect an artist, like your psyche probably while you are into a film or influencing certain
my experience, I would say, has been very different from other Bollywood actors because I think what was happening to me for 6-8 years has now started happening to other actors and the rest of Bollywood, right? Because for 8 years it was only me getting trolled for various reasons, and all of which was politically driven, agenda driven stuff. Now Bollywood is experiencing the same thing. So I in these 8 years have worked out a way to deal with it, to kind of, yes, of course it affects, because you're always, now there's a constant sort of feeling of, you know, oh my God, I can look at something and I can predict if this will be a controversy or not.
Yeah.
It may be that I will still do that because I believe in something, right? But I know what they're going to weaponize. I know what they're going to, how they're going to pitch something. So yeah, it does affect your work. You're basically existing and working constantly, and I think that's now happened for all of Bollywood, is that you're constantly existing in a state of like tension and stress and almost fear. And as far as Bollywood is concerned, it's actually fear, because I think I have figured out what this industry of trolling is and what this thing is. I don't think other people have figured it out, because I think they're in shock.
Correct.
You know, everyone thought कि हम कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे तो we'll stay safe, we'll nothing. It's come
It
home to
doesn't
everybody.
stop if you don't say anything, probably.
It obviously does. I mean, it's uncontrollable, right? It's mad now. It's like a fire that you cannot control. So when their agenda is to destroy Bollywood completely or control Bollywood in a certain way for a certain kind of narrative that they want and for their political agenda, they're not gonna spare anyone. I mean, we've seen that. We saw what happened. I couldn't understand why they targeted Raksha Bandhan. Like you saw, I thought they loved Raksha sir.
Exactly.
उनको भी नहीं छोड़ा आपने. So now it's just become like a free for all, you know.
Like a propaganda for no reason.
I know the reason, but yeah, we'll go with your answer.
Also, you know, one thing that has always been established is you love Swara, you hate Swara, you can't ignore Swara.
I like that.
Because I'm talking about the amazing lineup of films here that you have. I mean, the one where you are playing a cop again after Flesh.
After Flesh, yeah.
I am sorry, I forgot.
Mimamsa. Yeah, it's a very high. I'm like ऐसा philosophical भारी नाम एक murder mystery के लिए, but that's actually interesting. It's a sweet film. It's a small high concept film. It's special to me because I have memories of shooting. It was the first piece of work I did after COVID. So I went onto that set with so much gratitude to the universe, to God, like saying ki, you know, I really understood the value of having work after that like 6 month almost lockdown.
Yes.
Because I think, and not just for myself, because you saw you saw around you what happens when people don't have work. It was very surreal. But like, फिर भी हम film बना रहे थे. And I was like, you know, this is the spirit of cinema. Because like, I hate to say it like this, but people need to be entertained even in crises.
So
Sometimes
true. That
more
is
in
so
crises
true.
because you just need that mental break from the horror of life around you, you know. That was an interesting experience shooting Mimamsa.
But Mrs. Falani is what I'm very excited about.
I am as well.
Because after, I was reading that you were playing 9 roles in this movie. And after Priyanka Chopra, I think you're the actress who's doing this.
Yeah, so Mrs. Falani is really interesting and I'm actually excited, but I'm also really scared. Honestly, I am so scared, I can't tell you, because my constant thing is, oh my god, am I going to be able to pull it off? Like, can I do it even? It's nice, it's an anthology. So there are like 10 or 14 minute, 10, 15 minute films, short. So it's like, and I you know, the short story format in literature is a very particular kind of genre, right? Like it's a very, like if you have a feel for it, like you love it. So I always feel like short films are like short stories. This is an anthology and there are 9 stories and I play the protagonist in each story. So there are 9 different characters. But it's interesting because it's also kind of focused on the dreams that women have and the desires they have that they forget in the process of living life. And so in that sense, I feel like I'm picking up where I left off in Shivangi, in Jahaan Chaar Yaar. So what I couldn't fully explore maybe in Jahaan Chaar Yaar, I'll get a chance in Mrs. Falani. Wow. There's going to be a process and I'm actually now literally looking for theatre workshops that I can do to like, you know, to see, I feel like my fear before every role is like, have I forgotten how to act? Like this is always my question. Do I still remember how to act? So now I'm again having this fear like, oh, maybe I've hit a plateau. Maybe I need to like refresh. Maybe I need to learn more skills just in terms of the craft. So I'm actually planning on going back.
Trust me, acting is your soul. You're never forgetting it.
I know, but like, well, thank you. But like, no, I feel like you have. I feel we don't like all other artists and all other art forms have like a daily riyaz practice, right? Singers will sing every day, dancers will dance every day, painters paint every day, writers write every day. Film actors don't act every day. We don't get a chance to do that.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
So most of us, I'm sure there's some who do, but there are most of us who, most film actors don't do it, don't have riyaz.
Also 13 years in the industry from what?
Yes, from 2010.
Yeah.
9 from
2009 to 22. Yeah. So 13 years in this industry. And can we say that Swara's come across a dream role or it is yet to come for you?
Like I want multiple dream roles in my career. That's how I want my career to be. I'd say I've had, well, I would say Anarkali was a dream role for me. It's very funny, like the universe will send you your dream role in a, what you wanted but in a different format, in a nice way for you to make it your own. I always wanted to, I love Mughal-e-Azam. Yes. And I was like, someday I'll play Anarkali. And I kept
remember
thinking,
the
you know,
first time when I entered your house at Madhubala
yes,
poster.
I'm a big Madhubala ji fan, and I wanted to play an Anarkali or a character like an Anarkali, and then I got an Anarkali who very much has the rebel spirit that Anarkali had, but like in modern day format. That is a very special role for me. But I feel like I have many more. I want to be able to do more different kinds of roles. I've never done a historical. I've never done a biopic. These are two things I'd like to do. I'd like to play a man. Like, you know, what should gender be about? Like, not, and I don't mean a trans man.
Yeah.
I'd like to play a male character. Like, can I pull off playing a man?
I think so. You
I
can.
don't know.
Absolutely.
Let's see. So that's something I haven't done. I want to play an old character. I want to see if I can do that. Can I play an 80-year-old character?
Well, sky's for sure the limit, and I am sure that there is a much bigger, much adventurous and glamorous life ahead.
I hope so.
On that note, thank you so much for removing time and doing this.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure talking to you, and all the best for Jahaan Chaar Yaar.
Thank you, and I hope you like it. Please watch it and tell me.